I met a gypsy.
So I want to go back to when you were a kid. So when did you realize that you had that thing where other dudes wouldn't do shit and they would like, to keep in line with that conversation of like turn away from the fear or turn towards it? Like, do you remember your first memories of being like, no, I'll do that. Like, I've got this.
I feel like I was always kind of that kid.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I can blame Travis Pastrana for that. Just watching
Yeah.
him and Seth Enslow also major influence. Those two are probably some of the biggest influences in my childhood, I would say. And I feel like you can kind of tell in my riding maybe. But I was always the kid that was just wanting to try the biggest, stupidest thing, even if I didn't have the skills to back it up. And I would just kind of do that until I would
Till you had the skills to back it up.
Exactly, yeah. And that's how I raced as well. Like when I was racing downhill and it didn't pay off for me, it was like either podium or crash.
Yeah.
And it's and then I had the same thing with freeride and slopestyle. But I just had more fun doing the tricks. Like I was obsessed with the tricks. Like racing was super fun up to a point where the point was like go to the gym and take it seriously and like look for this little small gains here and there and bike setup, and it just got too I don't want to say nerdy, but it was just a little too serious for me at the time. Like I was just too ADHD and didn't want to pay attention to that. And then at the same time, I was making money, like prize money, winning competitions in slopestyle. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this. Like, this is way more fun for me anyways. And, yeah, I'm glad I did that. But I also am very glad I have the racing background because it builds such a good
Foundation.
base. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you were just always the kid. Like you just did. Do you think that you didn't feel fear in the same way as a kid, or you just always just fully blocked it out? Like you more focused on the outcome than the fear?
No, I was definitely afraid. I still am. Like if I feel fear just like anyone else would. I guess maybe have a different way of looking at it. Like I look at the outcome a bit more, like, and trying to accomplish my goals. I don't know. It's yeah. It doesn't. I've never really put too much thought into it, to be honest. Like it just feels natural to me to gravitate towards these things and accomplish my goals and do the things that I think are the coolest things. It doesn't bother me as much as it probably should either to be injured. Which is another, like, it's just part of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of guys at my level are probably like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
It's cool as fuck. It's just like, honestly, like as someone that just doesn't have that gear, like it's just really crazy to see and be around you guys just do the like incredible things that you're actually capable of doing, because I think it is all mental.
For sure. Yeah, it's all mental. And I mean, like I said before with the X Games thing, the only reason I'm here now is because I've said no to so many other things. Like there's a lot of times that don't get talked about that I think should be talked about, that I just walk away from stuff. Like even if they're completely within my range of what I'm comfortable doing, if there's like an unnecessary risk, I just say no. And I think that speaks to the confidence that I've built throughout those injuries, and instead of riding from a place of ego. Like those are the things where, like, if you know you can do something but it's like sketchy for no reason, I'm just like, no, I'm not going to risk it for no reason. And that's like very important for me to stay healthy.
And so you think that maybe sometimes that just isn't advertised in the same way. Like we see
Yeah.
the highlight reel and we see the big sends and we see either the successes or the failures. You either land or you crash and get hurt, but we don't see the times where maybe not the fear gets the better of you, but more like you just make the decision that the risk isn't worth it and you walk away. But that never gets shown.
Never
it never
gets
gets
shown.
published.
I mean,
so we have like a false sense of what you guys go through in a sense.
Totally. I mean,
that makes sense.
It's kind of like, why would you show that? It's like pretty lame to be like, oh, this guy's more than capable of riding this or doing this trick, and he's just walking away for no reason. Like, what a weirdo. I don't know. It's just a feeling like if you trust your intuition and trust your gut, like you just kind of know when to step away from things. And I probably annoy the shit out of people I work with sometimes because of that, but I don't care. It's my body. I want to do this for a long time. And if there's any like weird thing that's off because of the way something is built or because of the way I'm feeling at the time, it's just not worth it. Depending on what it is. Like if there's a lot on the line, then maybe it's worth it to take the risk, and I'm down with that. It just depends on what it is. But a lot of times I just say no.
It's funny because before, I can't remember, well, people that are listening to this now, we just bullshit for half an hour watching Supercross at the end of this. But you were saying that at A2 you were walking the track and you were watching them fix the up ramp where Levi cartwheeled.
Yeah.
And you were just like, what the fuck? Like, I wouldn't hit that right now. Like, that's so sketchy. And then look what ends up happening. And like, those guys fully don't get a choice.
No.
Like,
no,
dude, even Jerry Robin was saying, like, the crash, he did the pod yesterday. He got paralyzed last year.
Oh, shit. Right.
And he was saying that he was in a group text from press day with the track builders and all the riders saying that they need to change that. And that was where he got hurt.
No. Oh, dude, that's devastating. Like that, yeah, those are the things. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to make the choice whether I do something or not. And that's why I like filming a lot more than competition right now.
Yeah.
Especially with the outcome of a competition seems so...
Well, when you get fucked.
Yeah, you get fucked.
Yeah.
It only takes that one time of like, okay, this seems more of a show than a competition.
Yeah.
But for those guys to just go this is when the gate drops, like you have no choice. There is so much pressure and it's time and time again. And that's why it's so impressive to watch these guys and the level that they perform at. Like that's the gnarliest thing in my opinion, in terms of like their mental strength to battle through those things, and then just how fit you have to be able to last through. Like, dude, I couldn't even do a lap.
Yeah.
Like, so gnarly. It's unbelievable. But yeah, the fact that they don't have a say in the way the tracks are built, it seems like is kind of insane. It seems like they should maybe listen to the riders a little bit more and collaborate with them, because they know what they're doing. They're putting their health on the line time and time again. And they know what good racing is going to bring. Like, if everything just turns into one-lined ruts, like, that's not good for passing opportunities. And then everything depends on the start. It's just I think they should probably listen to the riders a little more.
It is crazy, and especially when you go to somewhere like Rampage, and it's such a collaborative effort, and it's all about safety, and it's all about rider safety. And I mean, and I'm sure that there's examples that I don't know about because I'm not there, but it's like, you know, you guys, if you don't want to ride because of the wind, like, you don't ride, and nobody talks shit. Everyone's like, yeah, man, I get it. It's windy as fuck. You just can't do it. It's too dangerous. And Supercross is like not like that at all. It's like, there's the track. Figure it out, boys.
Here's the schedule. There's the track.
The gate drops at 7.
Yeah.
We'll see you there.
Yeah, it's gnarly. And I mean, if there's one thing I learned from this past project we did with Hill and the Monster Crew is like we did a mountain bike moto project.
Yeah, how much can you talk about this right now?
I mean, I can talk about it.
Sick.
I think, yeah.
I didn't know whether it was still a secret or not.
No, I think people have been posting about it, but
Sick.
yeah,
I haven't seen anything from it yet.
Dude, it turned out pretty insane. I missed a lot of it, unfortunately, because of my ankle. I broke it before the first day of filming on the first feature. Just brain fart. I don't even want to get into it, but yeah. But the build was crazy to see how Grant Palmer and Josh Hill, how the way they look at stuff versus the way I look at things, with like the way mountain bike stuff needs to be built versus moto. Like, it's so different in the way we even like shape anything up and how packed things need to be. And I mean, a lot of it transfers over, but then there's like the thing of like, on a dirt bike, you can build a corner and it doesn't need to be like absolutely perfect. Whereas on a mountain bike, you kind of need to compress here and come out of it, and it needs to shoot you that exact direction, especially if you're maximizing speed and size on everything. It needs to be absolutely perfect because we don't have a way, like, there's just all these tiny little tweaks that we always need to make, and it needs to be just butter smooth to get the maximum speed out of it. So that was like a really eye-opening thing to see how different those two things were. And dude, and just the size of their stuff and the way they were just able to kind of plow through. Even if something wasn't ideal, they would just do it. Like, it was mind-blowing. It was so freaking cool to see.
Was that the closest you've been to that kind of stuff before?
Yeah. I've never seen. I mean, I've been to like X Games and Supercross races, and I've ridden with Josh before, but it was just like watching him ride on like kind of more regular stuff. This was like massive gaps and stuff that he'd been spending time building for a month prior to like push his own limits, as well as some of the best free riders in the world came to join him. And then same on the mountain bike side. So it was really cool to be a part of that project, and just heartbreaking to not be in the video at all. Just like doing that whole build with him, and then just like not even get to ride any of it was such a kick in the nuts.
Oh, I bet. You just finished watching a clip from the full 3-hour podcast. You're on our Clips channel. The full podcast live on the Gypsy Tales podcast channel. It's linked right here. Go over to that channel, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and make sure you never miss a full episode of the Gypsy Tales podcast. If you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you want to watch it on the go, you can also head to our iTunes or Spotify to get the full 3-hour podcast in audio format.
I met a gypsy.